As we commemorate their bicentennial, we invite you to walk with them at lewisandclark200.org and see what you discover, because their trail winds through us all.
One of the things that I believe in my heart is that the world needs Elon graduates. We are turning out some very special young people prepared to assume positions of leadership in the world, people who have been prepared to think as global citizens. The impact that these students are going to have, it's world-changing.
You've struggled, you've sweat, and you've bled to make it here. This is your moment. This is the NFL Draft.
6 o'clock in the West, 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock in the East, and it's awesome o'clock here in Studio B. And to that end, more draft craziness here from One-on-One Sports draft coverage. The Washington Redskins own the number 10 pick, but have just traded with the Jacksonville Jaguars, a team that narrowly missed the playoffs last season.
The Jacksonville Jaguars have been the definition of NFL mediocrity for years, and 2010 was no exception, finishing with an 8-8 record. Though Maurice Jones-Drew posted over 1,000 yards rushing and averaged 4.5 yards per carry, the offense sputtered under the command of quarterback David Garrard, whose struggles reflected the inconsistency of the offense as a whole. And though head coach Jack Del Rio is the 7th winningest coach active in the league, he is 65-63 in his 7 years with Jacksonville. The Jaguars are very much a rebuilding team, looking for offensive pieces to complement Jones-Drew, as well as looking to improve home game attendance, which took a hard hit with the economic recession of the late 2000s. The Jaguars were unable to hold their lead on the AFC South in December, and ultimately lost the divisional crown to the Colts while missing the playoffs entirely. Can Jack Del Rio right the ship and return this franchise to late 90s form? Or will Jacksonville lose its professional football team to poor attendance and mediocre play?
Certainly the Jaguars hoping to reverse that mediocre play fate. Here's what they get. Washington gets the number 16 overall pick, which the Jaguars had, in addition to their second-round pick, and Jacksonville gets the honor of moving up to the 10th overall selection, and they didn't waste any time. Their pick is in. Melissa, what is the selection?
The Washington Redskins have traded the 10th pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and with that pick, the Jaguars select Blaine Gabbert, quarterback, Missouri.
To sit at that 16th pick, and then until they saw their man Blaine Gabbert falling down the board, maybe representing a value at the 10th spot, Tom.
Absolutely, and the Jacksonville Jaguars gobbling up Blaine Gabbert here, the quarterback out of Missouri. And what stands out about Gabbert is his superior arm strength and his accuracy to fit the ball in these tight spots. Blaine Gabbert, as we mentioned, third quarterback on the board. Maybe a little bit surprised as there are 10 Jacksonville moving up, taking their guy. Gabbert's a good fit for Jacksonville.
Yeah, great fit for Jacksonville. First off, because David Garrard still has a few more years in the tank, so you can definitely put Blaine Gabbert on the bench, stick a headphone on him, kind of like the Packers did with Aaron Rodgers. He definitely he has the potential, but he's definitely not NFL ready right now. He's another one who comes from a spread offense, so he's going to have some trouble transitioning to the NFL, where he's going to have to run through progressions, more pro style, obviously, since it is the pros.
Sure.
But 27th in passing offense last year for the Jaguars, so certainly need to look to the future. They have the weapons. Mercedes Lewis, the big tight end for Jacksonville, Mike Sims-Walker, and of course MJD in the backfield. So great pick for Jacksonville.
But Tom, if you are David Garrard sitting there and your team just traded up in the first round to draft a top flight quarterback, are you concerned at all?
You have to be. It doesn't look good for your long-term career there in Jacksonville, but that's the one recurring theme throughout this draft is picks being drafted on potential.
Yeah.
Not necessarily is Blaine Gabbert going to step in there day one and take the keys to this offense, but down the road he will. David Garrard's going to be the guy for now, probably for the next foreseeable future. Garrard's the quarterback.
Yeah, I would not be worried if I was David Garrard. This happens. I mean, he knows it's coming. He's not getting any younger, and not his best year with Jacksonville. Plus, he's been benched a few times already in his Jacksonville history, so I think he should be happy that they drafted someone who's not ready right now.
Guys, let's go to Greg and Kurt right now. Jacksonville getting a little greedy with that 10th spot.
Absolutely, Joey. Jacksonville's trading up, as you mentioned there, to go get Gabbert, their guy now apparently at the quarterback position. Kurt, what are your thoughts on this?
You know, I like it that they're aggressive. They move down the board. They get who they wanted. I just don't understand it. You have Nick Fairley still sitting there, Prince Mukamara. I just think there were better players out there, better players for the value at 10. I understand you want your quarterback. You had to jump up ahead of Minnesota to get him, to make sure that you got him. I just don't get it. If trade down, take Nick Fairley. He's the best player on the board right now. I don't like the pick.
Absolutely. Well, I do like the pick for Jacksonville. I'm going to differ in that. I think that I don't know if Minnesota's necessarily going quarterback. I guess you could have seen them go Gabbert, but you don't know with this situation. You could have seen Gabbert slide all the way possibly to the Miami Dolphins too. The Vikings aren't necessarily the most high team on him, but they trade up and give up a second-round pick in this year's draft now for their guy. Do you think that's a little bit too much?
Well, you know what? I really don't think it's too much. You give up what you need to give up in order to get your guy. If he's your franchise quarterback, if this is the guy that you want to lead your ship for the next 10 years, you do whatever you got to do to get him.
Absolutely. Well, Gabbert's now the guy apparently in Jacksonville as he will be brought in to run Jack Del Rio's offense.
That's right, Greg. The heir apparent for the Jacksonville Jaguars is now Blaine Gabbert. Let's see how he stacks up with some of the other quarterbacks in this draft, like a Cam Newton, like a Jake Locker.
There are tiers of prospects within every position, and no position is more vital to a team's success than the quarterback. A good young quarterback can help lead a team for the next 10 to 15 years. Let's compare the two quarterbacks that make up my first tier, Auburn's Cam Newton and Missouri's Blaine Gabbert.
Let's start with Gabbert in Missouri's standard formation, in the shotgun with 5 wide receivers. Gabbert's first read would likely be to one of the inside receivers on the right side. However, he sees the linebacker in the slot slowly creeping towards the line of scrimmage. Even though the blitz is coming from his blind side, Gabbert recognizes that his receiver will quickly break off his route, easily picking up a few yards. This play is just one example of Gabbert's ability to recognize the blitz pre-snap and unload the football without delay. Although Gabbert shows pre-snap play recognition skills, during the play he can be a bit chaotic in the pocket. Again in another 5 wide receiver set, Gabbert's first look is a slant route on the left side. Off the snap, Gabbert realizes his first read is covered, sending him into a panic. Instead of stepping up in the pocket against a simple 3-man rush, Gabbert tries to scramble out of the pocket, even exposing the football on his second escape attempt. Gabbert does his best to square his shoulders and find a receiver, but without his feet firmly planted, he lacks the critical arm strength needed to make plays like this one. Now let's move on to Cam Newton. Newton's spread offense is much different than Gabbert's, mainly because of the inclusion of the running back by his side, allowing for play-action fakes. After the fake, Newton is able to avoid the blitzer by stepping up in the pocket. Even though he does not set his feet, Newton delivers a beautiful ball down the sideline for the touchdown. From a different angle, we can see Newton recognizes the favorable matchup of a wide receiver opposite a linebacker. But without Newton's ability to evade the pressure effectively, this pivotal play would have never been successful. This arm strength does make Newton a bit overconfident at times. Here the outside receiver is running a deep post but is bracketed by 2 defenders, a clear sign to throw the ball to a different receiver. However, Newton tries to power the ball through coverage, leading to a high throw and an interception. From the end zone view, we see that this was a very poor read by Newton and something that his future offensive coordinator needs to help him with. When I assess quarterbacks, I break down their skills into 4 critical factors: arm strength, footwork in the pocket, accuracy, and escapability. From film study, it is clear Newton has far superior arm strength, using his whole body to unload a bullet to any part of the field. Not only does Newton step up in the pocket at the appropriate time, but his footwork on 3, 5, and 7-step drops beat out Gabbert's rock step and release approach. It's tough to argue that Gabbert's accuracy within 15 yards is incredible, picking out open receivers and fitting the ball into small windows. However, Newton's deep accuracy is the best in this draft. He can really spin the ball in go routes or deep comebacks along the sideline, making this category a tie. Finally, both quarterbacks escape the pocket well, but Gabbert's tendency to panic when a play is defended well worries me.